You know how some cities just feel like they're buzzing with innovation while others don't? Well, it turns out that's not just a feeling, and it's definitely not a coincidence. Today, we're going to dive into the hidden geography of public research money in Europe, and it tells a surprising story, a tale of two Europes.
I mean, you can literally see this from a train window. As you get closer and closer to a major capital, the landscape just changes. You start seeing these domes, shiny labs, and sprawling science parks. It's like a gravitational pull of brain power. And this isn't some happy accident. It's fueled by a constant stream of public money.
And that brings us to the big, kind of uncomfortable question that a new study in research policy decided to tackle. Is all this taxpayer money actually leveling the playing field? Or is it just supercharging the places that are already way ahead? The answer? Well, it's not what you might think. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we first need to understand the two main players in this game, the two totally different kinds of money that fund research and development, or what we call R&D.
So, on one side, you have public R&D. This is our money, right? Taxpayer money. It goes to universities and government labs to fund that big picture of foundational science. Then, on the other side, you have business R&D. That's companies investing their own cash to build the next iPhone or develop a new drug. They're playing two very different games with two very different goals. And, as we're about to see, that makes all the difference. Now, this isn't just a hunch or a theory. The study we're digging into is a beast. They looked at a full decade of data from 2009 to 2018 across more than 200 different regions. This is a massive investigation into where all that money is really going. And what they found? Well, it's pretty stark. The results paint a picture of what you could call a great divergence. It's like we're watching two different Europes emerge, heading in completely opposite directions. All right, so let's start with the good news. When you look at business R&D, the money from private companies, inequality is actually going down. Companies are spreading out, they're looking for talent everywhere, and that's helping regions in Central and Eastern Europe start to catch up. The gap is actually closing. That's great. But when you look at public R&D, it is a completely different story. The inequality here is just stubborn. The gap between the richest research hubs and everybody else was huge back in 2009, and a decade later, it's pretty much exactly the same. The strong just keep getting stronger.
So if you take away just one single thing from this, let it be this. Private company money is spreading out and helping different parts of Europe converge. But public, taxpayer-funded money, it seems to be doing the exact opposite. It's concentrating.
Which, of course, leads to the next big question, why, right? Why is public money so sticky? Why does it seem to cling to the places that are already swimming in resources instead of seeding new hubs of innovation? Well, it's a powerful feedback loop. The money follows the highly educated people, and those people tend to cluster in the big capital cities with the famous, prestigious universities. Being close to political power doesn't hurt either. And interestingly, regions that are known for manufacturing often get overlooked, as if big discoveries can only happen in an ivory tower, not on a factory floor. And look, this isn't just numbers on a chart or some abstract economic theory. These funding patterns have huge, real-world consequences for people, families, and entire regions. And here's the real paradox. European governments spend billions on something called cohesion funds, which are specifically designed to help poorer regions catch up. But at the exact same time, their own public R&D funding policies are, even if they don't mean to, quietly making that inequality worse. This whole process creates what experts call research deserts. Just picture it. You're a brilliant young scientist or engineer. You graduate, but in your hometown there are just fewer labs, fewer grants, weaker professional networks. What are you going to do? You're going to leave. And that brain drain doesn't just create an economic gap, it creates a cultural one, a generational one. Okay, so that all sounds pretty sobering, but it's not hopeless. The whole point of seeing the map clearly is that it gives you the power to redraw it. So let's talk about what this means for policymakers and for everyone else. There are some really clear steps forward here. For governments, it means you have to track where this R&D money is going with the same urgency you track unemployment stats. For businesses, well, this map basically shows you where the future talent is going to be concentrated. And for the big established universities, it's a call to action. They need to actively partner up with up-and-coming institutions to help spread the wealth. At the end of the day, none of this is written in stone. These patterns aren't inevitable. They're the result of policy choices. And pretending that geography is neutral, well, that's a choice too, and it has massive consequences. And that leaves us with one last, really provocative question to think about. We all say we want to fund excellence, but if our search for excellence always leads us back to the same 5 or 6 capital cities, is it really about finding the best ideas? Or has excellence just become another word for concentration? Something to chew on.